Ahoy, sea dogs! This be the dread pirate Periwinklebeard, and you're listening to Pirate Port Radio with Abstracticus and Paladin Topaz. Let's set sail!
Welcome back, guys, for another episode of Pirate Port Radio. We have a special guest tonight. It's Chad from DKVine.
Special guest. Okay, so Lee Loveday is a special guest. Chris Alcock is a special guest. I'm not a special guest. I'm just some jackass who made a Donkey Kong website. But I appreciate it all the same. It's a pleasure being here.
In special, I meant that, not normal. Like in normal hosts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that adds up because I did not get vaccinated as a child. So, yeah.
All right.
Well, that sums it up then.
Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about Project Dream, I guess.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Are we?
On the Pirate Port Radio, we're talking. Well, I guess Project Dream is one of the first examples of pirates in Rare's Over. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other way to explain it. I mean, eventually it became Banjo-Kazooie. That was rather interesting to see a couple weeks ago now, when they dropped that Project Dream video, because I never knew that Project Dream, I always knew about it, but I never knew that it was the game that eventually became Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, no, that's, it's always kind of been the holy grail for Banjo fans, at the very least. We people who were around when Rare's website was Rarewhere with the WHERE, they had features like Scribes and Ask Uncle Tusk, and through those channels we kind of learned about the origins of Banjo being in Dream. But until, as you say, very recently, we had never seen it before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I did research for a video a while ago, and it was pretty cool to see, like, before the video came out, we only had, like, one screenshot from the game or something, it's pretty cool that we know so much now.
Yeah, and that screenshot, I think I know the one you're talking about, was actually from the Nintendo 64 version of the game, and what we saw was so much more than that. They actually revealed the SNES version, which was fairly limited in scope, but I think that's because of the insane graphics that were going on.
Oh yeah, it was really progressive at the time, right? Like, it was going to push boundaries. Am I right?
I would say so, yeah.
All right. Also, we're going to be talking about Rare's obsession with pirates. 30 years of pirates.
30, just
years.
30.
At least 30.
At least 30, yeah, because, so it's interesting, this whole 30-year thing, because, yeah, Rare was established in 1985, and yet Rare Replay goes all the way back to 81 with their early Spectrum titles.
I noticed that. I noticed that. And I was like, wait a minute. Rare wasn't established until 85, because I always knew that.
Uh-huh.
But to go back and see that first game on Rare Replay, I'm like, what?
All right, guys, you guys, I have to lean on you a little bit because I'm really focused on the Donkey Kong universe side, which, includes,
of course, Banjo,
etc., all the cartoon kind of Donkey Kong universe, everything out of Rare's, basically the googly-eyed nonsense. That's what I am locked into. But tell me, what is the first instance of piracy in Ultimate/Rare's output?
To be completely honest, for me, I've played most of the Donkey Kong games, and I remember in DKC2 that it wasn't King Cruel anymore; it was Captain Cruel.
Oh, Cruel! Oh, so you're
remember that.
You're going with the TV show pronunciation of K. Rool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I guess
so yeah, you're right. That it was definitely Donkey Kong Country 2 was a pirate-centric game, but in the first game, you did fight him on a pirate ship.
True.
Inexplicably.
But he didn't actually have the the name until the second one, or the TV show. You like you said.
Sure. Yeah. So, but was there anything predating Donkey Kong Country
that I can think of? No. I mean,
No.
you're a few years older, so you might have played these games before I did.
A few years. I'm 5 years older than you. Come on.
A few.
We talked before the show. I know how old you are. No, as far as I know, the first example of overt piracy in Rare's output was a port they did of Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yep. Love that game. I didn't know until the other day when I was searching through pirate characters in Rare games. I was like, wait, they made a port of Sid Meier's Pirates? Because that is like one of my favorite pirate games ever. I have it on my 360.
Really? I've never played it before. Can you kind of describe what the game is?
It's set in the Caribbean. And
okay.
you know, you've got all the islands, you've got Barbados, you've got St. Kitts, all the islands are there. And what it is you're in whatever country you decide to pick, and you're sitting at a dinner table at the beginning of the game, and you're a little kid, and some evil corrupt governor or something comes in and kidnaps your family and leaves you to die.
What a dick. Am I allowed to say that on this show? I don't know.
You're good, man. You're good.
You can censor it if I'm not.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
It's not like we're PG-13 or anything. I mean.
Okay, yeah, you can say dick on PG-13.
And then, you know, the ultimate goal is to find your family, and you get, like, pieces to the map of each family member. There's, like, 3 or 4 family members that you got to end up finding. And you can actually fight some of history's greatest pirates, like Blackbeard sails around on the Queen Anne's Revenge.
History's greatest pirates, all in Sid Meier's game.
Yeah, you know, there's Jack Rackham, Black Bart. They're, you know, all of them are in there, and you can fight them. And there's like, if you get close enough to a certain ship, you can press a button, and it'll activate combat mode, and it'll go to a screen where the ships are larger, and you can actually shoot off cannons. And there's like different upgrades to your ship that you can use and stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So obviously early-ish on in the evolution of Rare, they had the opportunity to port this game to the NES, so they were intimately familiar with pirate influence.
Long before Project Dream ever.
I'm going to have to go out and buy an NES for this. I want to play this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to play Sid Meier's?
On the NES, I do.
Oh, yeah, right. I wish I had an NES. I'd track that game down and play it. Wonder how different it is from the Xbox version.
You might consider tracking down the Retron 5. You can play old NES cartridges on it.
Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah, I saw that. You showed me that video a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway, so beyond that, I guess what would be the next example of piracy in the Rareverse?
There's a bunch of them. Most of the ones I can remember are all DKU ones. I mean,
when you say DKU, I don't want to assume that we have audience crossover. You're referring to the Donkey Kong universe, which is kind of how. Let me just describe that briefly for your listeners so they understand what you're talking about.
Right.
So on DKVine, that's the website that I come from, DKVine.com. I really don't mean to do shameless plugs here. It's your show.
No, man, you're right.
All right, thank you.
I mean, I said it to begin with anyway. So.
Yeah. So anyway, the way that DKVine is structured is kind of based on character connections, a la, like, think of the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with Donkey Kong Country as patient zero. So anything that sprung out of that, the site covers. So Donkey Kong Country created Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong was in Diddy Kong Racing with Banjo the Bear and with Conquer the Squirrel.
Exactly.
So now those franchises, Diddy Kong Racing is really what branched it out into oblivion, because now our website covers anything that Banjo characters have been in, Conquer characters have been in. So at this point, we're covering iDarb, we're covering Minecraft, we're covering Connect Sports Rivals, like basically
I guess Project Spark now too, since they're about to drop the Conquer pack.
Oh no, they dropped that Conquer pack last March, I think, and we had one of the people of their team on the show on the Conversation podcast. So like anything related to Conquer, Banjo, etc., we consider that part of the quote unquote DKU. It's not just Donkey Kong games; it's basically Rare. So when Ab refers to the DKU, he's talking about like Rare's cartoony, furry, googly-eyed universe.
Right. And ironically enough, most of the characters I remember are all Banjo-Kazooie characters.
So can I ask you a question real quick? Do you think Banjo will get into the Smash Bros?
Well, no. I mean, I think Smash Bros. Development is done now. They kind of confirmed as much on the last Smash Direct.
Yeah, the last one was Brawl, wasn't it? It was just Super Smash Bros. Then it was Melee, and then Brawl, right?
Well, no,
I saw an article, though, that there might be Banjo might come, because Nintendo was trying to get the licensing or something to get Banjo in one of their games. I forget which one.
No, I think what you read must have been a rumor masquerading as something more than that, because, no, Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U is the development is done on that. They've already released all the DLC that they want to, and while Phil Spencer, who's the head of Xbox development, tweeted saying that he was open to the notion of Banjo being in Smash, that's a far cry from it actually happening. There's a lot of legal groundwork that would need to be done for that to ever happen, and none of that did happen. And Smash Brothers is the development for the current generation of Smash is done. So, I mean, I hate to burst your bubble, but no, Banjo will not be in Smash Brothers.
I saw an article though that Banjo might come because Nintendo was trying to get the licensing or something to get Banjo in one of their games. I forget which one.
Wait, are you talking about the Project M? The people are modding the Smash Bros. Brawl for? Is that what you're referring to?
Maybe that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. I saw an IGN article with Banjo in a Smash Bros. Game, or it was gonna be in a Smash. I don't know. I'm stupid. I'm showing my ignorance.
Yeah, no. I think what you're talking about is a mod that fans have been doing for ages. So yeah, all bets are off. I mean, Goku could be in that. Shrek could be in that. It doesn't matter. It's not an official video game.
What would Shrek's moves be?
Probably reappropriating Disney character moves for profit.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's Disney for you. Sorry, Disney, for listening to this.
No, that was actually, I was kind of slagging off Shrek for being a rip. Yeah, all right, never mind.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't catch it.
No, it's no worries.
Anyway, like I said, most of the characters I can think of all come from Banjo games. You've got Captain Black Eye.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one because Captain Black Eye and his crew of pirates were supposed to be Edison's original antagonist in Project Dream.
Edson, yeah.
That's what I said. It was Edson.
Yeah, no I. Yeah, well, you go back even further than that, though. Captain Black Eye, apart from his portrait in
Banjo-Tooie.
Mad Monster Mansion.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about his portrait. That's right.
Yeah, apart from that, he wasn't in Banjo-Kazooie. So Captain Blubber, however, in Treasure Trove Cove was, and that was 1998, which predates Tooie by 2 years.
Fair enough.
I was going to say, which one was the hippo pirate? Because he used the best.
Yeah, that's Captain Blubber in Treasure Trove Cove, which is in itself a pirate world. I mean, no, it's not completely pirate, but there's treasure chests and stuff all around everywhere.
And are you guys?
Treasure Trove Cove is definitely the best alliteration I've ever heard.
Well, it's only a partial alliteration, actually.
Well, it's still hard to say. Say it 10 times fast.
Treasure Trove Cove, Treasure Trove Cove, Treasure Trove Cove, Treasure Trove Cove, Treasure Trove Cove. I mean, okay. But I worry that you guys are accepting the obvious first major pirate game from Rare, which is Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, I was going to let you kind of carry into that yourself.
Oh, sure. Well, I thought if we're going chronologically, then let's not jump ahead to 1998. 1995 was steeped in pirates. That was Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest. And that took... Basically, what happened in Donkey Kong Country is K. Rool showed up at the end of the game on the overworld map screen. You don't realize it at first, but as you progress from world to world to world, there's this pirate ship in the distance that's slowly making its way up. And all of a sudden, when you beat the last world, you're going to that pirate ship. And for some reason, King K. Rool is on a pirate ship, and you fight him there. And then that would carry over into the sequel, Diddy's Conquest, where that same pirate ship would be the first world of the game. It crashed into the shoals of Crocodile Isle, and there you are fighting off hordes of pirate-themed Kremlings and, Kremling associates. So that really is when Rare took its first deep dive into piracy.
Bold choice. Very bold choice.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at all the examples that we've outlined so far, Sid Meier's Pirates was obviously a port, but
you're right. But still, it's significant. That was kind of like that first step into it.
Sure, yeah. But Donkey Kong Country 2, lead designer Greg Mayles. Banjo-Kazooie, lead designer Greg Mayles. Banjo-Tooie, lead designer Greg Mayles. Sea of Thieves, lead designer Greg Mayles. I mean, I don't want to, make a beautiful mind situation with a bunch of, push pins and string all over the wall, but it seems to me that Greg Mayles may have an affinity for pirates.
He's been planning this for decades.
Some kind of fetish.
Yeah. So I think that the line that you could really draw for pirate Rare games, really it's Greg Mayles is the through line. I mean, that man loves pirates. He loves the romanticization of pirates. Not like the Somali types, and not what pirates actually did, which is terrible. But the Swiss Family Robinson, the Disney swashbuckling, 1960s TV movie, Treasure Island, yar,
yeah, right.
That thing obviously had an effect on Greg Mayles at a formative age, and he's been chasing it ever since, which is fantastic.
I agree. He pulls it off. He pulls off what he does. Captain Black Eye just looks cool to me. He looks like a puppet in that portrait of him in Mad Monster Mansion.
Oh, well, there's actually a guy who's made some puppets, one of them Captain Black Eye.
Yeah, I did. I remember seeing that a few months back.
Yeah, he's good. His name is Grunt von Vazeton. He's on the DKVine forum. He's also all over Twitter, but he makes fantastic puppets, and I had the pleasure of meeting him in person once and got to play with his Baron von Ghoul puppet from Grabbed by the Ghoulies. But
cool.
he made a Black Eye, and very recently a Captain Bones puppet has showed up on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, the real Captain Bones.
Yeah,
PPR follows
Bones
on
is
Twitter.
his. Bones is his. He doesn't want anything to do with real Captain Bones. He's just. I want to see like a machinima or something. Somebody animate that. That'd be awesome. I'll get on.
What do you guys make of Captain Bones? What do you think about him?
I think go back to Grabbed by the Ghoulies. What didn't Mayles lead design that too?
What, Grabbed by the Ghoulies?
If I'm mistaken.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Grabbed by the Ghoulies was the Banjo team.
Yeah. Which again brings in the zombie pirates.
Yep, of course.
Oh yeah.
Whom I would not know about. I've never played Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Do you not have Rare Replay?
I have it. Yeah, I have Rare Replay. I just haven't played it yet.
Oh, well, that's an oversight that you need to rectify immediately, my friend.
I've been playing through Cameo lately.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. No, right. Chris Alcock will forgive you.
Go play the Ghoulies.
Yeah.
Okay, right now.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies is fantastic. It's yeah. No, it's not an awkward sign. I agree with you. Grabbed by the Ghoulies deserves to be paid attention to, especially on Rare Replay, where it's got this new widescreen HD treatment. And it's a fantastic game.
But,
really need
again,
to play.
we're jumping ahead into Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Sure. Yeah, let's go back. We're talking about Captain Blubber and Banjo-Kazooie, right?
Well, yeah, you kind of went back to DKC.
Yeah.
So I think we need to go back a little further. Well, before Donkey Kong, to Killer Instinct.
Oh.
With
Skeletor. Or Spinal.
Skeletor. That's G.I. Joe. Or wait, no.
No,
that's He-Man. Excuse me.
He-Man, yeah. G.I. Joe was Cobra Commander.
That's right, yeah. Good movies. I like the new movies they've been making.
Nothing to do with the DK. Okay.
But Spinal's one of my favorite characters in Killer Instinct. I think he looks really awesome in the new remake.
Is he a pirate?
Yeah, he's a pirate.
Okay, what is... I've never really. Yeah, I mean, he's skeletal in nature. I mean, I know Killer Instinct has this crazy backstory with this like evil corporation. What is Spinal's backstory?
I don't know if they've released one. I mean, there's like a
no,
short
of course
little...
they definitely released one. Every character had a backstory. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I'm not doubting you that it's piratical in nature, but I'm curious if that's truly his origins. I don't know.
Well, he had a bandana on, so I mean.
Okay. That's plenty of evidence, really.
I know for a fact that at least in the new remake for Killer Instinct, his official level. You know how each character in a fighting game has like their own official level that's specifically centered around them.
Yeah.
It's pirate related. I mean, there's like it's like I think it's called like Shipwreck Cove or something like that.
Okay. Cool. No, that's awesome.
Okay, let me read this to you because it's on the KI Wiki, and it says it's a little tiny bit of a story. Spawn's origin is a closely guarded secret ultra tech secret brand of the corporation using a variety of special techniques. As student about an ancient warrior who was only a base never the past Spawn knows how to do only one thing, which is fight.
So he's an ancient warrior, but he's not necessarily a pirate.
Over 2,000 years old.
2,000 years old, that's not a pirate. Over 2,000 years old, he's maybe like an ancient Mayan. Yeah.
Well, maybe he was the first one.
In Killer Instinct 1, Spinal was a simple skeleton wielding a curved cutlass and buckler shield, spiked gauntlets on his arms and a red bandana around his skull, and hooped earrings dangling from the spots where his ears should have been.
Now that sounds like a pirate.
That's really pirate.
Yeah, but if we go with the official description, though, we're talking about a skeleton that is way more ancient than your modern Caribbean pirates, or even your modern Somali pirates.
To some degree, yeah. But we know that he's at least a pirate.
To a degree of 2,000 years, my friend.
Yeah,
Let's not mince words.
I mean, Captain Bones is pretty old from what I understand.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Captain Bones kind of has a rolling canon. I wonder what you guys tried to pick apart Captain Bones's storyline?
His storyline? What do you mean his storyline?
Well, he's always dropping
random
information points about
Those
his
riddles
history.
Are really fun. I'll say that.
Oh, you mean the Sea of Thieves riddles?
Yeah, the riddles.
Oh, okay.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think most of them are just to screw with us. There's really actually no answer.
You think?
And Paladins of the firm belief. Actually, I love Paladin. Paladin, what is your firm belief about those riddles?
What one are you talking about here?
The riddles, the Sea of Thieves riddles that Captain Bones tweets on occasion that are like on parchment paper. They're usually in couplets.
Yeah, are you talking about like my theory about the gloom, or what are you talking about?
Like the other day you were telling me you really think that they're actually, or at least hoping that they're actually like real in-game references. Maybe they're not actually, like riddles that you would find within the game, but they're actually hints. If you can just figure out the answer to the riddle, then you actually get a hint as to what is going on in Sea of Thieves.
Well, it seems like their sole purpose is just to mess with me. Like, I remember you trying to do that thing to get a release date, but I don't really know that. I don't know if that was right. But I feel like, why would he be giving us them if there was no significance to them in the game? Right? And I obviously can only speculate on what they mean, but...
Have you guys ever played Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
I love that game.
Okay, so you know how in Red Dead you find these treasure maps, and they generally have a little bit of text. I mean, it's always an image, but it's it's kind of an image of some landmark and a little bit of text, and it leads you to a point of treasure that you can uncover. Usually it's just like something that's buried under a few rocks, and you get it, and you get a cool item or a cool weapon.
Right.
I think that what they have been tweeting is similar to that. I think that these are in-game riddles that through the course of your adventure you might find a scroll that has this riddle carved into it, and within the context of the game it probably makes a lot more sense. And then that will kind of lead you as a player, or you as a collection of multiplayer players down a pathway that could set you on an adventure. So I really think that what we are seeing is part of the game. We just don't have the proper context to appreciate it.
Right. I totally understand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I agree.
I mean, in that aspect, I haven't been able to figure out not one of them, except for the last one. I can't remember off the top of my head what it says, but you know the last one that was released last Wednesday before Ryan McCaffrey dropped Unfiltered with Aaron Greenberg.
Oh, the one, right?
What? I don't know either of those people. What was that?
Aaron Greenberg. He's head of marketing at Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And
You didn't see there was an interview with Ryan McCaffrey from IGN.
Oh, you talking about the thing where we talked about the fish slapping,
Yeah.
all of that? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The riddle was a hearty welcome to be told slightly less you have no gold.
It's a tavern. That's the only answer I've ever been able to come up with this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a tavern.
It's a tavern.
Yeah.
That's the only definitive answer for any of the riddles I can
It's
give.
a tavern or a whorehouse. Yeah. There was also one that was I forget the exact couplet, but it was essentially about crossing the river Styx, and so that was about the process of death, which is interesting because we have seen that there are clearly at E3 2015 we saw that there were skeleton pirates in the game, so the fact that there may be some element of an afterlife depicted in this game is kind of exciting.
Right. And I wonder, speaking of, like when you die, I mean, obviously I would think that you would be able to continue your adventure. But I really want to know, I think I said this in a previous episode, I really want to know how, like when you die, how you come back to life. Like, is there a special spawn point, or do you just, do you respawn back in the tavern? Well, you got to go do this quest again because you died during it, or I guess that's how
we don't
works.
even understand. I worry that a lot of these questions are premature because we don't really understand what the game is yet.
Exactly.
So that's a question I have for you guys. How is it feasibly possible that you've been running a podcast on Sea of Thieves for 6 months and we don't know anything about the game?
Concept art.
To be fair, this is basically all speculation in our fifth podcast. So we cover everything that Captain's Bones and we cover just theories about the game. Yeah, we really don't know nothing about the game. So there's so much to figure out, but it's just fun because it's fun.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not. Look, I've been doing DKVine for 16 years. I'm not going to argue that it's not fun. This mindless speculation. There's a lot of value to be had. So you say you've been following Captain Bones really closely. Have you guys been sort of examining the canon of his claims to make sure they kind of line up in a historical sense?
Well,
because he's got a bit of braggadocio, I mean, Captain Bones seems very full of himself, and he's making a lot of very braggart kind of claims about his history, and some of them line up, but some of them don't, and I think there's a lot of fun in trying to connect those dots. Have you guys done any of that?
I know a while back he said something to Amir or One Falcon. I know you know One Falcon.
Yeah. I met him at E3. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I believe he was on a conversation with you guys for E3 last year.
Yeah.
I don't remember the episode number. It's like 300 something.
300 something. Yeah.
I want to say it was 324 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. That would have been about right because it was middle of the year and we do 54 episodes a year. So yeah.
Okay. Why 2 extras?
Well, E3 always gets extras.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we usually do a Nintendo. We do like a pre-show, a Nintendo, a Microsoft, and then a post-show. So over the course of that, we usually get in 2 extras.
Okay. But yeah, he tweeted something, or Amir had tweeted something to him. One Falcon, whatever. Mm-hmm. He had tweeted something, and Captain Bones replied about something about since '95. And if you take that in the pirate sense, pirates were right around the 1600s. It was like what 16. You know, I mean, of course it was before then, but like most pirate history started in like the 1650s and forward into the 1700s when it was basically dying at that point.
Okay.
But he made a reference to the year 1695. And if you're not familiar with what was going on in the pirate world in 65, there was a captain named I believe it was Henry Avery or Every, or there's so many different aliases for that name. And we thought it was funny that
you're talking about the Wikipedia page that I said, right?
Yes.
That was crazy. Like that he said that you. 1695, I think it was that. But it was referring. Get the context. I wish I had the Twitter here. Because it was explicitly stated that he was this guy.
So you're saying Captain Bones is this Captain Henry?
Not necessarily.
He had something to do with them, at least.
Okay.
What I got from it was that he was, you know, he had his own ship, and it was because they ransacked some big like supply port or something in 1695, and you know that's what he was referencing, was the ransacking of whatever that port was.
Okay, interesting.
And it was Henry Avery and a crap ton of different pirate crews, and they all went in and they ransacked this port.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that maybe
I'm sure they did it all Disney wholesome like with nary a rape among them.
Yeah, right.
That's where he died, I think, apparently.
Oh, okay, so that's where Captain Bones met his end, huh?
That's what I get from it.
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't said anything to the contrary, but then again, I don't really think anybody asks. But he doesn't. He says, I refuse to talk about it.
So I'll tell you this. At DKVine, we've been quietly capturing all of the little historical factoids dropped by Captain Bones.
Yeah.
And we're trying to keep a very, very close eye on whether or not there's some internal consistency. And I think that at this point it's a fool's errand because he's wildly inconsistent with his story. So I think that although, you know, saying that, it is in keeping with the character of Captain Bones. You know, he's a braggart. He wants to puff himself up and make himself seem like he's been in more scrapes than necessarily he has. I mean, for all we know, he's just an ad exec from the 70s that's been skeletonized and wants to make himself out to be a pirate. This could be a mid-death crisis.
Who knows?
Who knows? There's literally no way to know.
There isn't. I'd really love to know who's behind the keys, because I don't think his arthritis from centuries of being dead and a skeleton are really going to allow him to type on a keyboard.
Oh yeah, no. Well, he does all of it by carrier parrot. That's been established.
I remember you saying that a while back.
Yeah, that's Captain Bones canon.
Yeah. Okay.
So Captain Bones is definitely going to be a character in the game, right?
I doubt it, to be honest. I don't think so. If they do make Captain Bones a character, I think it'll be a little sly nod. But I feel like Captain Bones is more of a modern day promotional figure, and if they put him in this game, very well might be a period piece. And if Captain Bones is in it, that may threaten to throw off the whole period nature of it.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get what you're saying. Absolutely.
I mean, do you guys think Captain Bones is going to be in?
It's a possibility.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah?
It'd be funny. But like you said, I don't really see it, you know, other than being like a funny little nod to him.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I tend to default to what makes internal logical sense, and when examining Rare games,
there is no logic.
Oh no, that's the opposite of the point I was trying to make. Especially Greg Mail's games, they always adhere to an internal logic. If you look at Grab by the Ghoulies, Ghoulhaven Hall has a floor plan that makes physical sense. I mean, they unnecessarily so. You know, they always have a sense of internal logic and continuity. So if they went to the trouble in a Greg Mail's game to create this character as a promotional exercise, if the game takes place in the 1600 to 1700 piracy golden era, I highly doubt Captain Bones is going to be in that unless it's like the early years of
He's
Captain
alive,
Bones.
unless he's actually alive with skin.
Now that would be cool.
That would be cool.
If we get to see the death of Captain Bones in Sea of Thieves,
oh, that would be a trip.
Wouldn't it?
That would be a trip.
Imagine that's like the opening cinematic sequence.
Right, but that and it's just like a little aside. Like you don't even know his name. He just like mentions that his last name is Bones, like a la Star Trek. Although his last name is McCoy. But anyway,
of course.
I think that like that. Now that is the kind of thing that Greg Mayles would do. But what he would not do is brazenly throw continuity to the wind and just, I guess Captain Bones is in there too. It would make internal sense. Rare has always paid attention to that kind of thing, and Greg Mayles especially has paid attention to it.
All right, well, with that said, do you think there's going to be like other rare pirate game references in Sea of Thieves?
I kind of hope so. I mean, I have reason to believe that Captain Blackeye might make an appearance. At E3, all of a sudden, Greg Mayles' Twitter picture changed to a render of Captain Blackeye that we've never seen, and then it disappeared very quickly.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was Captain Blackeye was bald. He didn't have the gray hair or the black hair. So it was interesting. Like this might be early Blackeye or late age Blackeye, but it hasn't been confirmed that he's in the game. But this is really why DKVine is covering it, because obviously Captain Blackeye was introduced in Banjo-Tooie, and so therefore our website covers it through this 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. All right. So we're assuming that Captain Blackeye is in the game, and that's why we're trying to cover it. But I'm hoping that he's in there. I really, honestly, I kind of hope that it stops there. I don't want to see a lot of cartoon animals in this game because it seems like it would go against the aesthetic of the whole thing.
Yeah.
What do you think, Paladin?
I think there'll be at least some kind of Easter egg. Like maybe not a full-fledged story, but a little Easter egg, like to about these characters. I think is definitely more than possible.
Yeah. Well, we may see, another classic Mayles character, Royston the Goldfish, who is. Do you guys know about Royston?
I'm familiar with it. I forget what it was.
So Royston is Banjo's pet goldfish, and he has showed up in obviously Banjo-Tooie, where he gave you the ability to he gave you double air underwater. Then Royston showed up again in Grab by the Ghoulies. He was in Baron von Ghoul's schoolroom. Royston, and that's why DKVine covers Grab by the Ghoulies, because of that Royston goldfish connective tissue.
That single little thread of info automatically makes Grab by the Ghoulies DKU.
Absolutely, because we follow the character connections.
Right, and because of Diddy Kong Racing, all of the Banjo stuff is automatically DKU.
Absolutely, and we couldn't be prouder to have Grab by the Ghoulies in our net of coverage. But Royston also showed up in Connect Sports Season 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was there was a kind of a golfing minigame where they would kind of put garbage in front of you to golf at, and one of those garbage items was Royston in his goldfish bowl. Royston was also in Viva Pinata. Royston has an incredibly storied travelogue. Royston has most recently showed up in the Nosy Crow children's game Goldilocks and Little Bear, which was done by Stephen Hurst, who's a former Rare musician, but principally Ed Bryan and Will Bryan, who are obviously former members of the Banjo team. So they have decided to continue Royston's story in their children's games. So I would love to see Royston show up at some point in Sea of Thieves, and I wouldn't even be concerned about the fact if it was a period piece, because Royston has gone through so many what should be fatal events in his life, and he's come out unscathed. I think Royston is immortal.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. So if we see Royston, it doesn't even matter the aforementioned Amir at E3. As soon as we left the Microsoft press conference where we saw Sea of Thieves, we were kind of saying like we were trying to unpack all of that data conversationally, and we were like, wait, what if there was like a boss battle with a giant Royston? And that was an idea we all fell in love with.
That would be crazy. Or,
yeah.
I don't know, this is kind of off the wall, but maybe Royston transformed into this Kraken. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit out there, but it would be pretty funny.
Wizard.
I don't know what biological mechanism would create that, because obviously Krakens
the
are
rare
so
biological.
Fair enough.
That's about the only
I'm sorry,
explanation
but
can be given.
I gotta skip that early. It's been nice talking to you today, and I'm sure I'll catch you both on Twitter. Sorry, I have to go. But
Yeah, no, likewise. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for chatting.
No doubt, Paladin.
I'm sorry. All right.
Have
Bye.
fun, man.
I got the audio, so.
So shall we wrap this up, I guess?
Yeah, I guess we can. There's a bunch of characters we didn't mention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of taking your lead on this, but if he's gone, I don't know what else you want to do with the show.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do it. Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, man, it was good to have you, Chad.
Yeah, likewise. All right.
I hate that Paladin had to go, but I understand he had some stuff to do tonight.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, no, we had a good time with him. It was good.
So again, I appreciate you being here, Chad. You're awesome. And this has been Pirate Port Radio. Captain Ab out.